I believe if you want to have an incredible life, you get to make the choice on the life that you want to have. And yes, it can start with appreciation, it can start with the practices of that because yes, there is so much not to appreciate, but that's not important. The important part is what we appreciate, the life we live, and the life we want to create, and the life we want to live. That's the most important part.
So, you know what I love? I love that life invites us to live it differently in different places. And that for many of us growing up, I think we have a vision, well, of where we want to be, not only today, but in the future. And as I visualize that, I start thinking, well, how do you do it? What happens if you're living in a small town, a large town, but you visualize a different town in life? But then how do you get there? And how will people accept you when you are there? And who's over there anyway? And will it really turn out the way you hoped it did? Because I think life happens, well, when you dream it up first. Well, I'm so excited. Well, I'm so excited to visit on that topic by somebody who's unlocked it in life. Gillian, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, here on Believe Boulder.
Well, Scott, thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor to be here. I already feel like a star just speaking to you today. So thank you.
Well, I love it. And you know what I love? Jillian, I love dreamers. I love believers that create the dreams and then find the path to make the dream behave. And as I speak about that, and I speak about things like, well, changing, immigrating to a new country, to a new lifestyle, to a new dream. Jillian, please, you originally grew up in South Africa, if I'm correct.
I did.
A- And um, and here we are. If I'm correct, you now live in San Diego.
I do. Very, very privileged to live here. Yes.
Lucky, and I say lucky, but you know what's lucky? Lucky is having the dream to do it. We can all do anything, right? And sometimes we stop ourselves from creating that next step in life because we ask a whole bunch of how questions. How will I afford it? How long will it take? How will I find a place to live? How will I find a job? How will I like the people? How will the people like me? I've learned that too many how questions often stops the activity from happening. And can I ask you, please, knowing that, I'm visualizing, Jillian. I'm visualizing. So a lot of people can listen to us, but they can't see us. For those that are watching us, you can see that we're both adults. We're both not teenagers in life. And we're living a gorgeous life in the lives we're living in. And here you are, if I'm correct, about 27 years ago, Jillian, you made a life change growing up in South Africa, being around the people you knew, loved, created a life and a lifestyle around, and you made change anyway. Well, can we explore that a little together?
Yes, I was born in South Africa. I immigrated when I was 27. I felt that I just wanted a safer life for myself. I wanted a safer life for future kids that I was hoping to have. I just wanted to create something different. So I wanted to be bold. I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and take a leap. I had no idea what I was doing or where I was going. Fortunately, I did have two sisters that actually lived in San Diego. I came to join them. But I gave up everything I knew. I gave up my family, my friends, my life, and my mom, which I didn't give her up, but over the years, I've realized because I have two girls of my own, I have a 14-year-old and a 19-year-old, and my mom did the most unselfish thing. We were best friends, and when I went to her and I said, I want to leave. I want to live in America. She said, go, go. I'm not going to stop you. Go. And I now have a daughter that's at college. She goes to the University of Vermont, which is the furthest you can actually go from San Diego and still be within the US. And that was her dream. And I had to let her do that. And I really just, I learned so much of how my mom was unselfish and wanted me to have an amazing life. And I'm super grateful for that.
I love that. I think that's really hard, isn't it, Jillian? Especially mom and family, and then being able to separate that for everything that's new ahead, and to have that support. Wow, I don't think everybody gets that. So please share with me. You said you did it for safety. I've never been to South Africa, but I heard that there's definitely unsafe areas. I think out there, but safety was one of your drivers. You already had family here, so you had two sisters. So teach me, who set the seed and how did the seed get planted? The sisters were here before you. Was that your seed? Did you see them do it and you thought you could do it too? What was the real drive? What happened?
Absolutely. I think our family are all bold. We all live life to the fullest. I mean, that's what I'm hearing and listening to what you're saying. They left. The first sister was married, and they decided the U.S. is where they wanted to put their roots, and they traveled around the U.S. and found San Diego. So lucky for me, they found San Diego. So I came to where they were, and then the second sister followed. Then I did, and I my dad passed away, and when I was 24, and I felt like I needed to be with my older sisters. We have the same dad, and I just felt an incredible connection to be with them. So, fortunately, they live in a beautiful place like San Diego, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's make a new life for myself. And when you say dangerous, back in the day, um, South Africa was dangerous, and it still is, unfortunately, with the turning of the country. I was mugged. I had a chain ripped off my neck. A very, very good friend of mine was actually raped outside her house. Um, and I got scared. And you cannot live in a place when you're scared. And
Yes.
I had the fortunate opportunity that I could make a choice, start a life, and with my personality, I knew I just had to live life fully. I had to make difficult choices. I had to be bold.
Yes.
So I live my life with being bold and with making the choices, because I think life is about the choices we make every day. Life is about the choices we make and how we react to situations, and that's what I've chosen to do. So I'm very fortunate to live here.
I love it so much. And Jillian, please, I heard so much in that. And it sounds like the big change happened when dad passed. And being at 24 was 3 years before you actually made the move. So that was 3 years being with mom and helping mom. But I heard you also say that you shared the same father with your two other sisters and you had another sister. So it sounds like mom remarried.
I'm not sure if you want to go there, Scott. It's complicated. My mom and dad actually got divorced when I was 5.
Ah, mine was when I was 4, so very similar.
Yes, and then my dad remarried multiple times, 5 actually. My mom remarried when I was 8, thankfully, so she gave me the stability. So my two older sisters are from my dad, and my younger sister is the same as my mom.
Did you grow up with mom or did you go with dad? Where did you grow?
I'd spend the weekends with dad and everything else with mom. Well, I'm very fortunate that I did have a relationship with both, and my dad was a huge influence in my life. As was my mom. She grounded me, and now that I have two girls, I understand what that's all about, and I'm actually going through a divorce myself. After being married for 23 years. However, we're happy. We're both happy. We've grown in separate ways. We are friends. We are going to be in each other's lives forever. We have two beautiful girls. And I hope we can inspire people with just our story of that. And I think I've really taken on living my life to the fullest, and life is short.
Jillian, can I ask? Can I ask? I still want to stay back there in that other space because I think a lot of people are affected in life. We all have something that shows up that disrupts normal. at some point, whether it's joy that did it or something that's horrific that did it. Whatever it is probably powerful enough to interrupt normal. And that happened for you. And then inside of that interruption was a dream, and there's your sisters already here. And then you envisioned. Can I ask you, please? Because I think a lot of us envision a better life. A lot of us envision change, but not everybody has the ability to make it behave. So I want to focus more there. When did the thought really hit your mind? Dad's passing, 27's when you did it. There was a few years of a gap there. When did the thought of you were moving? When did that first thought show up, and how did you move it forward? Did you visit with your sisters first, or did your sisters plant the seed? How did the seed get planted that you were heading to San Diego? And then how did you kick off the little shoulder, like the little girl that's on your shoulder speaking doubt in your mind that this might not work and are you sure and all of this? How do you kick her out so you can actually make it happen? Can you take us to the moment? Because I think many of us get stuck with our little guy or our little girl on our shoulders, and they're bold enough to stop us from believing. But you were able to kick one off and make the believing happen. But it may not have always been that way, and there might have been doubt first. Can we really get into the reality? I've learned that a lot of us would love to invite it, but how can you do it? Gillian, you constantly say you're a believer. And so I'd love to explore that. Can we? Can you take us to the point where the seed was planted and take us from that moment, please, where the stuff matters? What happened?
I think growing up in South Africa, and it's a beautiful country, absolutely beautiful, but I always looked to America as where I want to be, my dream country. It's the leader of the world. It's where everybody wants to be. And when my friend had the horrible incident happen outside her front door, I took it upon myself that I wanted something more. And I I took a leap of faith, and yes, that little girl on my shoulder was there saying, "You can't do it. You're too young. You don't know what you're doing." I mean, let me back up a little bit. I used to be a professional tennis player. I started playing tennis when I was 5. I was traveling the country when I was 8. I was beating 18-year-olds when I was 8. Um, and I grew up with the story that I'm not good enough. And the reason I did that, I I played a match when I was 8, and this lady came on the court looking very similar to Martina Navratilova, if you understand tennis. And I just froze. And at that time, I let that little girl on my shoulder to take over my future. I made a choice and I made a decision in my life that I'm not good enough. And that I found was how I was living my life. I was living around not good enough. I kept wanting to prove to myself, to others. And when this happened and I chose to leave, I I just looked at my life and I'm like, you know what? I am. I just have to believe in myself. I do believe in myself. I am extraordinary. I have extraordinary people to support me, and I have a will. And I think with immigrating, it was not easy. It really wasn't easy. It took me
I
about
bet
3 or 4 years to settle. Um, but I believe that if you are really true to what you believe in, follow the passion and go with it. And that's my biggest lesson that I've learned in life. Just be true to yourself, be true to who you are, be true to your heart, and follow who you want to be. I think that's one of the reasons I'm also in the process of getting divorced. I found that I had an extraordinary life, extraordinary family, but I lost a little of who I was, and I started forgetting who I am and what I enjoy and what my purpose is, and what I want to do in life. And I realized life is short. A very good friend of mine passed away very early, and I felt, you know what? We have one life. It's time to live it. So I do. I live life to the fullest. I jump off mountains. I'm totally afraid of heights, and now that I'm with the American Dream, I've taken on doing things that I would not normally ever do.
That's right. Being a national television host is a big deal. And here you are doing it. In fact, one of your recent episodes was the topic of the entire production company and how amazing you pulled that together just out of an idea. I mean, talking about dreamers that turn dreams into reality. Jillian, I got goose everywhere. It's amazing. You're proof that everything is possible and that yes, you can in that just believe.
Believe in yourself.
Why? Because you're the proof that everything truly is possible, and that believing bolder is how you do it. And what I've learned, and Jillian, please, what I'm hearing is that you worked from a lot of want events. Everything that I've heard so far was because of want. I did not hear how. I've not heard you say that, how will this work? How will this? I've heard that you had a want moment. You wanted change. You wanted to be in America. You wanted to live the dream you created as a child of what you thought the community meant. And you wanted to be part of that story. So, what I'm hearing is that want was the key driver that drives you forward in the things you unlock. And it's not the how questions as much as it is the want being understood. Can I ask a silly question with that being the underlining statement? Did your how unlock the way you visualized it? Because I'm sure most of us think about how it will work, but did your how? Did it work the way you thought it would, or was your how completely different? Can you teach us about how the how happened?
Nothing ever goes the way you plan. I am a very strong believer in manifesting and yes, the want and just visualizing where I'm going, what I'm doing, writing down what's important to me, what's important about people, what's important about making a difference with people. So the how wasn't really a factor. I just knew I would do it. I believed in myself and
You didn't like visualize the job that you would be doing. You didn't visualize where you'd be living. You didn't visualize how it would work. How would you find the job and what job you'd be doing? Was that part of it? And did that work out the way you first visualized?
no, I came out here starting an import export company from South Africa, imported artifacts. Um, Long story short, my background is design and interior design, and then I got involved in real estate, which is 25, 26 years ago. So no, I would never have thought I would have been in real estate, but being in real estate has taught me, I guess from my background, I love the stability that it creates for people. I love the difference I make for people being in real estate. Um, and it's, I, th- moving and living a bold life doesn't just happen. You have to make hard choices, hard decisions, and problem solve. I think in real estate we are huge problem solvers. And I think that's what life is about as well. Not that we all have problems, but it really is moving forward, not looking back. And I recently just, on that topic, Scott, I recently had an accident. Speaking of moving forward, um, I was surfing for the first time, doing doing something I would never have normally done coming from South Africa. I didn't like having my feet dangling over the surfboard with the little sharks. And I took it on, part of a segment I was creating for the American Dream. Um, and I actually broke my neck. I I didn't realize I was in shallow water. I did a silly thing. It could have happened to anybody. Head went in the sand, butt was out of the water, and I actually heard my neck crack. And what I really want to share about that is, I could have looked at it a very different way. I could have gone and reacted to people in a very distressing way, people that I was with, and I chose not to. People that I was with don't even really know that happened to me because I I looked at it as moving forward. I wore a neck brace for 4 or 5 weeks, and it was about moving forward. My life is ahead, not looking back, not looking down, just creating new possibilities, new me, new adventures. And
That's all powerful inner thought. That's incredible, Jillian. You were able to do that from breaking your neck?
I believe now from that is there's just bigger things to do in this world for me. And again, it comes down to believing in myself.
Your physical body was damaged that day, but it sounds like your spirit was untouched. And it was the spirit being at the highest level of joy that allowed the physical effect to be less effective or affected. And that your spirit was so powerfully available at the time, you had buffer. And it was that buffer that allowed hardly anybody to even know something happened to you. Am I fair in saying that was so? Was it your spirit that was untouched?
That's exactly right. My spirit was untouched. I got back on the board. I did it again. I still finished off the segment. I then went for lunch. And then I had a little bit of pain. And a good friend of mine who's an orthopedic surgeon said, Jill, you need to get to the ER. Fortunately, no surgery, but I am a miracle baby. The doctors tell me I should not be walking from what happened. So I'm super grateful, super honored, super privileged, and just appreciate every day and appreciate my life, and I will just continue living in the moment and living it fully. I just that's who I am.
Did I just hear the secret? My love, did I literally just hear the secret? Jillian, I heard the secret. Do you know what I just heard? I appreciate. I appreciate. I appreciate. Is that your secret, Jillian? Is that where joy is born through the power of appreciation? Because when we first spoke, that's exactly what I heard as well. In fact, every time I visit with you is with great spirit or see you in one of the network meetings. Jillian and I share that in common. We're both on national television, just different cities we represent. And every now and then we have a production meeting with all of the hosts throughout the nation. And Jillian, appreciation. It's this. It's what I feel, and it's what I feel through you. And we were visiting before the camera came on, and I heard that verbiage show up. Jillian, please, do you use that as a tool in your life? Do you find that you find the small things to appreciate?
That is a very interesting question, Scott, that you actually hit the nail on the head with that. I journal that every morning. I get up and I write 3 things I appreciate every day. And there's so many negative things happening in the world, and once I write down 3 little things I appreciate, and it could even be that it's beautiful and sunny in San Diego, because that's not how the rest of the country is right now. Um, but just it puts me in a different energy. It puts me in a different mindset. I write down 3 things I appreciate. Um, I actually call them AIDs. I write down 3 things I appreciate, 3 things who I intend to be for the day, and then I write 3 things I delegate, which is out of my control, and 3 things I put out to the universe or to God that I want to have happen, and let it go.
Jillian, oh my God, OMG. Here's what I've learned in life: beautiful people find each other, and that like attracts like. And I just adore you. I love that we share that in common more than you know. People often ask me, Scott, well, how are you always so happy? How do you get that level of energy? And how's it always available and consistent and so authentic? Jillian, please.
Well, Scott, I hope to be a little reflection of you, at least, because your energy and your happiness and your smile is just so contagious and spreads to everybody. And I see that about you all the time. So I hope to be a little bit just like you.
You're amazing like me, and I can see the whys. We're both dreamers, we're both believers, but I think we create the real energy that other feel through us. I mean, when I say that you were the topic of the meeting, you were literally the topic of the meeting. And it's your energy. It's you, it's your spirit, it's your self-belief. All of that was getting discussed. because you're authentically that person. And I think a lot of us would love to carry that energy more often than not. Jillian, please, my secret is that we hire fitness trainers, right? And the fitness trainers can put together a blueprint of a workout session and routine, and that if we follow that routine, we can build up really large muscles and shape a body because there's a system to do it. It's been proven, and you just have to do the work. But I've learned that you can even do that for yourself, for your personality, for self-thought, for energy. And for me, Jillian, I had a horrific life event that I self created, and it created a separation in a relationship I didn't want to separate from. And shortly after 6 months, I used a very powerful tool that I was gifted growing up through foster care and boys' homes and a lot of therapy back then.
Oh, well, that's good. I had no idea.
Well, that'll be a different visit someday. But yes, here's what I've learned. Sometimes to get life's highest level of joy is probably because you've been touched by life's darkest spaces. And contrast is so deliciously valuable. And for me, here's how I create the version you get to know today. And it's exactly what you said, but just different. May I please, the commonality is that I used appreciation as an exercise. And I literally stopped in my day, just as I would do with my trainer, and I took a moment to appreciate something. But Jillian, please, what I did further as I continued my exercise program, I did it as a regimen. I committed to doing it 5 times a day. I would do it sporadically during the day, and I would literally stop. And if I couldn't find something, I, like you, Jillian, I would appreciate that I was able to breathe. And then I appreciated what happens when my mouth is stuffy and my nose is stuffy, and I would visualize it and remember and reflect. And then I would just go deep. Jillian, as I started the exercises of appreciation, I found myself available to go deeper. And I found that the deeper I got to really appreciate the things that were around me, almost instantly, my body and my mind and spirit was able to automatically find those first. I think, why did the teachers use a red pen instead of a green pen? Why did they circle the things we got wrong and make a big red circle? Why didn't they use the green pen and circle the ones that were right? We're trained to find the things that aren't working quickly in life. And when you use the art of appreciation, you can correct that earlier programming. And for me, I'll never forget, Jillian, I live in LA, driving down Laurel Canyon, making a right on Sunset Boulevard. I have this gorgeous office on Sunset. And here I am. I should be appreciating everything. I was driving a convertible Porsche. I mean, my life was delicious. And just foster kid unlocking delicious things.
Love that word. I'm stealing it.
Well, you sure should. And I made a right turn. And Jillian, it was morning, and I said, "Oh, I hate this traffic." And I said it out loud because I would find things to complain about easily. They're easy to find. And something happened that day, Jillian. Something happened that day. And I realized it's the people that make LA special. And it's the people that are driving the cars. And if the cars weren't here that create the traffic, that means the people would be missing. And all of a sudden, I had a freaking epiphany. And I realized, shoot, oh, I think I kind of like the traffic. And do you know what happened after I did that moment, Jillian? It was life-changing. I was 31 years old. It changed my entire life. Jillian, that very next second, I realized it just happened from that earlier art of appreciation. I had been practicing it, but I wasn't perfect. I was practicing the exercise. But that day, I started learning that words were things and that words mattered. And then I realized, who invented tar? How are these streets made? Who made the map? And the
That's
people that
going deep.
actually laid the tar, were they married? What kind of life did they have? What was it like being here before the roads were present? And how many times did it take to figure out how much rock to put with the tar?
Oh my
And
goodness.
who knew that you had to heat it up? And how many times? And I mean it, Jillian. And I would do this exercise consistently, and I would go deeper and deeper and deeper. And now it's just who I am. How did I get here? by exercising the art of appreciation daily, regularly. And as I did it more often, the deeper I could go with it. And the deeper I went with it, the more I could pull from it. And that is who you know today as Scott Griffin.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's exactly right. And thank you for sharing that story. I believe if you want to have an incredible life, you get to make the choice on the life that you want to have. And yes, it can start with appreciation, it can start with the practices of that, because yes, there is so much not to appreciate, but that's not important. The important part is what we appreciate, the life we live, and the life we want to create, and the life we want to live. That's the most important part.
And I love that's in your inner spirit, my Jillian. I think some of us just want to take a nap.
Haha, no. No naps.
We can do that when we're dead. There'll be plenty of time for sleeping then. But until then, I love your gorgeous spirit. Jillian, how do you keep it so actively available? What are you doing? Your energy's so, oh my gosh. You're just able to be felt. Your joy is so authentic. Jillian, what do you do when it runs away? What do you do when that joy runs away for a minute? How do you go grab it back?
Appreciation. I, I really look at my life and I appreciate my two beautiful girls that I have. They even do the AIDs. They even do appreciation when they kind of nervous about their life ahead, or a test, an exam, or maybe a swim meet that they're having. I actually say to them, "Do you want to do an AID?" And they sit and create it, and they focus, and they create their appreciations, their I's and their D's, their delegation, and it changes their mindset completely. We did that during COVID, the whole time of COVID. We sat together as a family every morning. We created our AIDs, and it changed our perspective on the world. It changed our mindset and our inner joy and our peace and our happiness. And it really just shifted. So that's what I do. There is so much to appreciate in life, and I think everybody, if we just sit down and look at the lives we have, there are little pieces that we can really appreciate and develop into larger things, but there's so much in life to appreciate.
Jillian, sometimes we hear these things like from a podcast, like we're sharing today, but it's not always easy to activate because comfortable is comfortable, and yesterday often repeats. And it's hard to disrupt comfortable. And I think we like to be in a comfortable moment in life. And, oh, you're constantly interrupting it, constantly. And now I know why. AID is the tool. May I please, Jillian? Somebody put together a workout routine. You've already put together a routine as AID. What a great thing to coach and train on. What a great thing for you to write a book about, for a train manual. My body got goosebumps everywhere fantasizing your life forward by sharing your AID formula. That is so powerful. Appreciation, intent, and for me I made delegation, I called it dream.
I love that. I think I'm going to rename that Dreams. Yes.
I like dreams because you told me that's what delegating was. And it had the flavor of dreaming in it. And so appreciation, intent, and dream. I'm in love with it. I'm in love with what it invites because that sounds to me like a workout plan. That sounds like a tool because I know it works. Everybody listening, please let us tell you it works. Jillian is a national television host. That's not make believe. Jillian is one of San Diego's one of the top real estate agents. Who? Why? Because she's a dreamer that dreamed herself here into California. Took all of her understandings from a foreign country and tried to apply them to our country. Of course, life is different everywhere we live. Community matters, and you made it work anyway. You brought into this world two beautiful children. You did it with a man that you were able to create a relationship through that's lifelong, even though it may not include the marriage lifelong. What I love about that, Jillian, you need to hear this. I just love who you are, Jillian. I love, 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 love who you are. And I
Thank you.
love that you found a moment in time. So please, everybody, did you hear, Jillian? When life stops activating your joy, change the thing that was disrupting it. I heard Jillian, Jillian, I heard you say you were losing yourself inside of that relationship that was 23 years strong, knowing that you moved here 27 years ago. So 4 years after moving here, you were able to fall in love in such a way that you were able to get married. But inside of that marriage and children and family and raising, where did beautiful Jillian's dreaming spirit come? It got put away a little bit to be replaced for something else. But I love you, Jillian. You put your hands down. You said, enough is enough. Come back, Joy.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And you're proof that, yes, you can. Who? Well, you listening right this second. You, yes.
At any age, it doesn't matter. Yes.
Change the things that aren't doing it. Why? Because joy is on the other side of the change itself, even if it includes a divorce.
That's exactly the lesson I want to teach my kids. I want them to learn.
Just believe, and that all we get is ourselves in life. The only thing we're ever guaranteed in the life we're living is ourself. And so as long as ourself is activating joy, we'll activate and share that joy with others. And it really matters. And joy loves to run away. And joy is hard to keep activated together. But when you do the AID exercise, you'll find joy is available. Why? Because you're journaling it. Something magically different happens when we write things down.
You write things down.
And then we think about it first, because as we're writing, we're visualizing what we're writing about. Because remember, we're the author of our own AID. So we're going to get our AID journal, everybody, right? This is your moment. You're going to do this tonight. You're going to do it today. You're going to begin your AID exercises. You're going to write down your appreciations, your intents, your dreams. This is a daily exercise. You're going to notice. It's going to take time. Remember, you weren't doing this exercise yesterday. I wish I could go to the gym 3 times, everybody, and get the body of beautiful. Unfortunately, no. It's about consistency.
And it doesn't take a long time.
No, it doesn't. You can get a gorgeous body in months by being consistent.
Well, the body, yes, but the AIDs, no.
It's going to happen when you're consistently doing the exercise. And why does Jillian need to be a coach? So that Jillian can coach you in the exercise to keep you consistent. Maybe she'll take us up on that idea. I think it'd be smart. She'd be really terrific at it. Why? Because you can feel what happens when you're a believer too. Jillian, I just love who you are. Thank you for making life beautiful. You really do. You touch so many. You're a giver. And when you serve people and bring home, like through selling real estate and representing real estate, we really representing family, home, where dreams are spent the night through, where life and food is cooked and fed, and children can be born and raised for those that are doing that in life that they're living.
And that's why I love being in real estate. I love the stability it provides. I love the connection that it provides. I just love making a difference with people. So I love it when they're dreams. I love making the impossible possible.
I think doing that through real estate is scary. It's important to be surrounded by people that aren't scared, that are believers, to help you move forward in your self-belief, because the little doubt chops up on the shoulders. How will I be able to afford the house? How will this happen? How? You know, I've learned that the biggest cost in life is cost of inactivity. And what I love about you, Jillian, is you're the opposite, my little AID friend. There's nothing but activity. And yes, there is. Why? Because we're writing out our I's and D's. And our I's and D's are empowering everything to happen next, because A was the way we started the chapter. And A is where we get the power to believe. And once you own the real power of self-belief, what you learn is, yes, you can. And what can you do? Anything. Why? Because everything is possible. We didn't have the internet until somebody whipped it up. We didn't have artificial intelligence until somebody believed we could. We didn't have air conditioning until somebody dreamed it up and said we could. Everything happens new and next when the dream is actively self-believed.
We didn't have Believe Boulder until you made it happen.
Right? And see, Jillian, and why? Because you and I love to share the spirit with others, because we know we're more of who we are by those we surround ourselves with. And the more dreamers and believers we get to touch in life, the more life begins realized. And I think that's important instead of just experienced. I think it's better to live a life realized than only experienced. And realized means that you can unlock anything. Do you want to be whatever in life? Do it tonight. What? Your AID journaling. Commit to doing it daily. And I'll tell you what, look at the goose pimples in my leg showed up before the arms. Why? Because I bet it'll happen in less than 45 days. I bet you're going to start noticing some changes rather immediately. Why? Because you're forefronting your thoughts. It's like when you drove the car. I've got a Genesis electric car now. There's Genesis that have been on the road all around me, but I didn't notice them. But the moment I got mine, shoot, I can see them all over the place now. But they were already there the minute ago, but I didn't see them. Why? Because I wasn't thinking about it. This is just the same. So your dream is available. When you dream it, you surround others. And Gillian, may I ask, please, as we close up this session, I wish these could be much longer, but for everybody, Jillian's in San Diego, and she's somebody that needs to be in your life. And she'll help you get there. She'll help you get to where your dreams want to be. Just reach out to her. You're going to find Jillian's a giver. That's why she's a national television host. Why? Because she's giving people the spirit of community and showing what communities can become. My beautiful Jillian out there on the surfboard for her first time, breaking her neck. Why? And getting right back up and going back and going doing it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why? Because that's what AID dreamers do.
You only have one life. It's here to live it. Yeah.
One more time, Jillian, please. One more time.
We only have one life, and I'm here to live it. I think we should all live the one life we're given to the fullest.
I breathed all of that in. I breathed all of that.
All of that.
Jillian, can I ask as we close this out one question? You envision yourself going back to your very youthful self, your little child self, and you only had a moment to tell your child self something. What does your child self need to know that you know now and that you've learned? Because I remember you told me when you were doing young tennis and you met that person, then you were intimidated. Your child, youthful self, based on who you are today, and you only had a moment to go back in your little time machine. What does your little self need to hear?
Oh, that's a great question. Again, just follow your heart, believe in your passions, and believe in yourself. And I think also don't be afraid to fail. It's okay to fail. Failing doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Failing has you grow. And if I had known that when I was little, you may see me at Wimbledon, who knows? But I,
Instead, I see you on national TV now.
except you see me on national TV right now, yes. but yes, just
I
believe
love
in
it.
yourself.
Oh
Believe in
my gosh.
yourself and follow your heart. I think that's the most important thing.
I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. When I was asked that question years ago, it's why I love to ask the question. You and I are, we're family from a different family. Jillian, my answer was the same. I would tell my younger self to just believe. That's it. Just believe. And that's exactly what you say. Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself and also don't worry about what other people think. This is your life.
Well, life is full of opinion.
Right? This is your life to live. It's not theirs. You can't make everybody happy. Stop worrying about what other people think.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Jillian, I hope you'll take me up on my crazy idea. I hope someday we learn about the AID program you've put together and that it's everywhere. Why? Because it's going to change lives. And I hope you that heard us today that got the first advancement of the AID program start taking your action. Start dreaming big. Believe bold in the dreams you have. Remember, yes, you can. Absolutely, everything is possible. And if you're in a relationship that's not bringing you joy, change it. Why? Because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And I think the best thing in life we can ever get is joy. And if joy is more activated than it isn't, you're going to have an incredible journey. And if you find that you need to bring change on, just believe that it can work. And then if you have people around you that bring in doubt constantly and put you down, I've learned life is better lived filtered. What a great uncomfortable time to say goodbye so that you can have space to invite. It's hard to bring in new energy and new people when the energy and time is already clogged with the people that are taking away instead of giving for you. When you meet beautiful people like Jillian in your life, you're going to learn that there's people there that can help support the dreams that you have living inside. And that the more you surround yourself by people like Jillian, the more you find yourself doing more in the life you're living. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Jillian, I'm so glad that you shared so many beautiful things.
Scott, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hope that you listening to us today take a moment to well, probably listen to this again. Find some of the nuggets that were unlocked and find yourself inside of them. And I can't wait to see you next week. And thank you so much for joining us today. And Jillian, thank you for being such an amazing person. And I can't wait, and I hope you will, take me up on the AID program.
I will definitely put it into consideration, Scott. And I do want to thank you for the difference that you make with people. And just by bringing your podcast and the stories you share, thank you for being so extraordinary.
Everybody, do you see what I mean? Surround yourself with this energy. How delicious is tomorrow and every day after?
And delicious. And take the word delicious. I love delicious. You are delicious.
Well, I love it because it instigates joy, and this is joy personified, and we can all do it. And so, thank you, Jillian, and thank you. And well, we can't wait to see you soon and share this with some other friends. Get them previewed. Let their lives get changed as well. We all matter together, and I'm glad you're here. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.